Thank you, Nick. Yes, welcome everyone. Welcome inside Turf Moor to the back row of the James Hargreaves stand, which towers over the two sides of Bernley. The cricket field stand to our right, the little Bob Lord stand on the opposite side of the ground, and the traditional scene of all of the coaching staff of both teams walking across the pitch diagonally from the dressing room down in the corner, and Sean Dyche there, unmistakable figure of Sean Dyche in his black overcoat, shaven-headed, applauding to the Burnley fans as he does so. You were telling me, Rob, that the dressing rooms here are some of the most intimate in the Premier League.
They're certainly intimate. We're certainly intimate tonight. We're fairly tucked in here in the stand, and it can be quite a tricky proposition getting in and out the dressing rooms, let alone on the pitch. So I saw some of the Manchester United players will be happy just to get out on the pitch, just to cool down from the sauna-like conditions in the dressing room.
Let me run you through the teams in full. We've not done that since the start of the programme. So Burnley, 2 changes from Boxing Day when they lost 1-0 at Everton against Carlo Ancelotti's side. Sean Dyche has brought back Ashley Barnes up front, and he's brought back Jeff Hendrick, who missed that match through suspension. So the Burnley side, Nick Pope in goal, back 4 of Bardsley, Tarkowski, me, the captain, and Charlie Taylor. In midfield, Jeff Hendrick, Ashley Westwood, Jack Cork and Dwight McNeil, with Chris Wood and Ashley Barnes up front. And the Manchester United side, 4 changes from Boxing Day, their 4-1 win over Newcastle. De Gea in goal, Young, Lindelof, Maguire and Brandon Williams are the back 4. Fred and Matic in central midfield. Nemanja Matic starting in the Premier League for the first time since September. Then Daniel James back in on the right, Pereira and Marcus Rashford, with Anthony Martial through the middle. Mike Dean's the referee. It's a clear night, not too cold, I must say, and an excellent atmosphere swirling around Turf Moor. Burnley against Manchester United for you then in the Premier League. Now, after the earlier matches, Burnley down in 13th, Manchester United in 8th, and it is Manchester United who get us underway in one of their change kits, the beige fawn-coloured shirts, which have black trim, black shorts and black socks. Immediately the ball's fired down the left-hand side, and Burnley in the claret and blue shirts, white shorts and white socks can take the throw. Phil Bardsley, something of an old stager now, at 34 years old, takes the throw, and eventually via a couple of deflections it finds its way back to Nick Pope in the Burnley goal. So what are you expecting tonight, Rob?
Well, I'm thinking it's all down to Manchester United, and that's no disrespect to the Burnley players. We just touched on it now. Their performance as a Manchester United team will be interesting to see how they cope with this Burnley side.
I think the strength of Burnley this season has been their defence, and I think the contest of the night will be to see Manchester United's speedy front players against this Burnley defence. And here right now, Rashford running at the Burnley back line, but the pass is misplaced, and then it's played up to Ashley Barnes, who wins his first free kick of the night near the centre circle.
Ashley Barnes, a big strong player there, but just waits for a little nudge from Harry Maguire, goes down nicely, a very modern day free kick there, and this is what Burnley will want, just to slow the game down early doors, get it up the field and get it towards their big 2.
Burnley in the first half, as we look here, are playing from left to right towards the cricket ground end of the pitch. Here goes the free kick from Bardsley, long and downfield, and then Williams is able to clear it away after the initial header down. Burnley with it on the right hand side. Westwood with the cross, fortunate deflection back off Williams. Now here's Hendrick on the right hand side. Hendrick turns it over, and it's headed away to comparative safety by Lindelof in the middle. Burnley again take possession, up it goes through the middle, but the offside flag is up against Wood as he gets his head to it, and the ooze because Ashley Barnes had a shot at goal, but it was over the top of the bar, and in any case it was a free kick to Manchester United into here in front of his penalty area. 0-0.
I think as a player you'd love to play for someone like Sean Dyche, because the game's so simple, you know exactly what to do. With Jeff Hendrick there, just got the ball, get it in the box, and he put a dangerous ball in and nearly came on.
Yeah, it was absolutely it was fascinating, Rob. We spent a bit of time with him during the Champions League final this year when he was part of our team, and just to hear the detail, and actually just to be able to sit down with someone like Sean Dyche and just learn the processes that he uses to make Burnley a successful Premier League team. This is their 4th consecutive season in the Premier League, and honestly, no stone is left unturned.
No, you can be a real student of the game as a manager, and you as a player, you get a fraction, a snippet of the detail that they go into, and they break it down into manageable sizes to something that I could concentrate and not a lot of the players could concentrate to, but you realise how much detail goes into those presentations.
0-0, Burnley 0, Manchester United 0. Rob Green is with us, the England goalkeeper, Premier League player with Norwich and West Ham and Queen's Park Rangers, watching Burnley clearing the ball away downfield, but it bounces out of play on the far side for a throw-in that'll be taken by Ashley Young, who's returned to the side tonight. 34 years old, takes the throw-in up the right-hand side. Pereira tries to hook it on, but it's blocked out of play by Charlie Taylor for a throw-in on the halfway line. The floodlights brightly shining down, the Burnley flag with the crest on the claret background fluttering away on top of the Bob Lord stand. We're on the side of the ground where the throw is taken for Manchester United. The ball back into central defence to Lindelof, and now out to Ashley Young on the right hand side, and then Lindelof will just roll it to his left to Harry Maguire. Manchester United, after that 4-1 win on Boxing Day, which was their largest margin of victory since the opening weekend when they won 4-0 against Chelsea. That, of course, though, off the back of the 2-0 defeat at Watford. Pope clearing the ball from the left-back position. It bounces down off Cork, centre field. And then here's one downfield for Barnes to chase, but it's looked after by Lindelof, who just sees it back to De Gea, who passes it forward and out of the penalty area to Maguire, who looked as though he might be ready to go off on one of those runs. But Mike Dean just stops play for a moment or two, because Ashley Young has taken a clattering from Ashley Barnes, and I think he's winded him on the halfway line, Rob.
Yeah, I think that was a sturdy challenge in the air from Ashley Barnes. He's as easy as he went down against Harry Maguire, he's used his full strength on that one, and Ashley Young's really feeling it. I think, John, that you were saying about the conditions, and having been here many a time in horrendous conditions, I think Man United players will have looked at it and gone, oh, there's no wind, there's no rain, it's above freezing for December, we'll take this, thanks very much.
Yeah, but Ashley Young wasn't bargaining for Ashley Barnes' shoulder in his back.
Well, I think you'd have to take the rough with the smooth when you come to Burnley. Yeah,
he's just climbing to his feet over there. They've taken some fine scouts here over the course of the time they've been back in the Premier League, but Manchester United have not lost here since 2009. You remember the game when Robbie Blake scored the only goal when Burnley were newly promoted in the August of 2009, so over 10 years ago. 9 matches home and away between Burnley and Manchester United since then. 0-0 in the very early stages, still yet to see either goalkeeper tested, but here now the ball finds its way to Marcus Rashford on the left hand side. 2 goals in his last 3 Manchester United appearances, including one the other evening against Newcastle. Here is Rashford, who is released down the left hand side by Matic. The challenge comes in, but it's deflected out of play for a throw-in to Burnley near the corner flag.
Being on the side of the pitch here, we're all the way at the top of the stand, but you can still hear the Burnley players talking to each other. They're talking about the organisation of Sean Dyche and his team, and you can hear them communicating with each other. Jeff Hendrick in front of Phil Barsley there, deciding which player was going to go to Marcus Rashford and make that challenge, and it was a really good tackle.
Can you hear that?
I've got good ears.
James now moving infield, but it bounces away from him after the challenge comes in from Hendrick, and it bounces back to Nick Pope, who clears downfield. Harry Maguire wins the header against Ashley Barnes, who gets up holding the back of his head. There was a little bit back on Barnes there, but now here's Taylor down the left hand side for Burnley, down the left wing into the full back position. Taylor chips it across to the back post, and it is just nicked away from Barnes by the head of Brandon Williams and out for a throw.
Fantastic play by Charlie Taylor, got the better of Fred, and really good defending by Brandon Williams at the far post, just getting enough on it to away for a throw-in.
Manchester United getting the ball up front towards Martial in the centre circle, who plays it for James. James using his pace, but excellent defending from Tarkowski, who slid in at the crucial moment, and the ball from that tackle deflected all the way back to Pope.
Yeah, there's the threat of Manchester United, the pace that they have up front, and you looked at the back three of Burnley who were left there at the end, and they kind of looked at each other and thought, well, I don't want to have to make that last ditch tackle, and Tarkowski took the mantle, and he made the challenge, and it was a very strong one.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gave Dan James a rest on Boxing Day. He's been very much a part of this Manchester United team this season, but after his spectacular goal-scoring start, after his move from Swansea this summer, he's actually not scored in his last 18 appearances. So since those 3 goals in his first 4 appearances, not scored since. So we'll see what the rest has done for Dan James. But Burnley with the throw on the left-hand side. 0-0, 5 live. Throw in taken. A little stretch from McNeil, but Manchester United take possession back. And then the challenge comes in from Westwood in centre field, who just caught Rashford there, who went to ground. The ball deflected out of play. But I don't think that is anything more than a throw-in to Manchester United.
Just after the tackle, he caught him. It was a little nick on the ball, which is enough to it not to be a free kick, and he just caught him after the tackle was made. And on your ankle, it doesn't look much, but they can be really painful ones for a player, especially with your new boots, the lighter boots. There's very little contact needs to be made, because it's basically a stud or a foot on straight onto your toe or on the top of your foot, and that can be quite painful.
So, anyone listening to us and watching the pictures will think, well, he's hardly touched him. But Rashford, clearly that there was some pain there, and he's actually unlaced his boot, his left boot, and is still on the halfway line, tying it up again. And he's only now on his feet with his hands on his knees. 0-0, Burnley 0, Manchester United 0. He's okay though, Rashford. Here's Williams bringing it forward. The 19-year-old left back, with Luke Shaw after his recent run in the team. Started the last 4 on the substitutes bench for this one, having missed quite a lot of this season. And Williams, the Mancunian with the tousled fair hair, takes it back to Maguire, who meatily hits that downfield, but it bounces out of play for a throw-in beyond Martial for a throw-in to Burnley on the level with the edge of their own penalty area. If anyone was listening to 5 Live last night rather, and might have heard my voice sounding a little bit scratchy at Molineux, things are holding up so far, which could be down, believe it or not, Rob, to the venerable Dr. Ian Dennis.
What's he prescribed?
He'd give me a prescription today, which was milk and rum mixed together.
I'm surprised about the milk.
Yes, that's a fair comment. But I had a drink of milk and rum this morning for breakfast, and it seems to have done the trick. I won't speak too soon, because last time, for anyone who was listening, last time you and I worked together, you didn't get any further than half time.
Well, at least both of us are holding up this time, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not sure whether we should work together again. Maguire plays it across to Lindelof, and Ashley Young with it on the right-hand side. Ashley Young gets it back, and then plays it back into central defence. By a strange quirk of fortune, because I haven't been home since Christmas. I was away for Christmas with the family, and I actually had with me a bottle of rum for the rum sauce. Lindelof sends it long and forward, but beyond Martial, and it bounces through to Pope. Here is Bardsley on the right-hand side. Bardsley plays it infield, and then it deflects away. Actually, Matic came in with the challenge to take it away from Wood. And now Manchester United again. Rashford picking the ball up deep and running at the Burnley defence. That's what they want to do, Manchester United. I'm sure that was part of the plan. But the challenges come in, good challenges. Although Fred is now fouled by Tarkowski, and it's a free kick to Manchester United, 10 yards ahead of the centre circle.
It was a foul. Mike Dean just waiting there just to see how the play developed, and it was just enough of a tug to pull him down, and a free kick in a decent position here for Manchester United. But Burnley will be pleased with how they've started. No great alarms, no great shakes, and they're in the game, and it's fairly even.
So a free kick. Burnley 0, Manchester United 0. And 3 Manchester United players are over the ball. No Paul Pogba in the team, or indeed on the bench if you've just switched on. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer feeling that he has to ease him back into action. Pogba having come on as a substitute in Manchester United's last 2 games, and obviously Scott McTominay not involved. Now this free kick,
he fancies this.
This free kick, central, very central but this is between 35 and 40 yards out. But Rashford, full of confidence, is going to give it a go. Here comes Rashford with a free kick. Pope has to go down to his left and get both hands to it to palm it away from the goal into the full-back position, and it actually takes a deflection.
Just watching the replay here, yeah, it's a horrible wobbler one that the modern player does now, and as a goalkeeper your heart sinks a little bit as it's coming towards you. Sometimes it's a bit more luck than judgment, as if you can get a good couple of hands on it and palm it away, and he got it to a really good area, so that's a good save for Pope.
Still 0-0. I guess it was during the time of your career that those sort of free kicks became commonplace.
Yeah, it was Frank Lampard that started it, and he used to be away with England training and turn to me and go, "What do you hate, Rob? What about when it dips this way, dips that way?" And you chat to him about it, and then a couple of weeks later you'd be playing against Chelsea and realise that you'd told him everything that you hated. So yeah, not the greatest game plan for myself.
Did he ever score a free kick past you?
I can't remember them. Many penalties, but not a free kick, and many other goals. But yeah, it's free kicks I can't remember. Ask him, I'm sure he will.
Right. Well, he scored so many. Manchester United with the ball with Nemanja Matic. As I say, hasn't started in the Premier League since September, but has started a couple of the recent games against Colchester and against Astana in the Europa League and the Carabao Cup. Manchester United semi-finalists in the Carabao Cup, obviously involved in the Europa League as well in the last 32 against Club Brugge, and but obviously one of the main targets for United this season is getting themselves into the top four and back into the Champions League positions. They win a free kick on the halfway line. Pereira, just a little foul on him by Jack Cork. Seen quite a lot of that actually from Sean Dyche's Burnley. Again, no stone unturned there. I'm sure that is part of the Burnley plan. Williams playing the ball back for Manchester United to Harry Maguire, who turns to his right and gives it to his partner Lindelof, and now Ashley Young again on the right hand side. James comes over the halfway line for it, then it's flicked on by Martial. James, good run for him into the space, taking the ball on, and then as he looked to bring it into the penalty area, the challenge came in on him from Taylor, and it did catch him late, and it is a free kick to Manchester United in the left full-back position.
Yeah, I think there's a decision that Charlie Taylor made that he was well outside the penalty area. I'm going to make this challenge one way or another, because I'm actually, if I win it, it's going to go for a corner. If I lose it, it's a free kick, and it's actually a better position than Daniel James running into the unopposed into the penalty area. So I think it's obviously a dangerous position, but a tactical one from Charlie Taylor.
It could have been running away behind for a goal kick, but Taylor didn't want to take the risk. So it's a free kick. It is about halfway between the dead ball line and the edge of the penalty area, and it's about a stride outside the box. And it looks as though Fred is going to whip this in to the near post. So this is going to be a test for the Burnley defence from this set piece. Fred, here he comes, left-footed, and he does whip it in, but too much on it, and it sails away over all of the players and the crossbar, and rattles around in front of all of those Burnley fans sitting in the two-tier cantilever stand behind the goal.
I mean, that's a wonderful position there for Fred, Manchester United and Fred to be in, and as a Burnley player, where do you want this ball to go? Over the bar and into the stand, and it was a really poor free kick.
And here at the other end of the field, Brandon Williams just running away with the ball, and there was another one of those little fouls, this time from Chris Wood. Just a little, in fact he lost a boot as he ran away. It's just caught the heel. Wood just caught his heel and he lost his boot.
I mean, it was a nothing one, just trod on the back of his foot, and the boot came off, which was more of an annoyance because they put them on so tight that they can't get back on.
It's yet to get going really. Burnley 0, Manchester United 0. Burnley are in fact now the Burnley fans are getting on to Manchester United, because Maguire leaves this free kick for De Gea to take, which he does, long downfield onto the head of Bardsley. Hendrick gets the ball down. Hendrick with his long hair up towards Wood, who Harry Maguire was very tight to Wood, who went down, and it's a free kick. Maguire doesn't like it, but it is a free kick to Burnley, just 5 or 6 yards into Manchester United territory. So Burnley with Westwood and Bardsley And McNeil, who's not yet been able to get into the game, one of the brighter spots for Burnley this season, the young England under-21 international McNeil. I think it's going to be taken by Westwood rather than McNeil. It is long in into the penalty area and headed down across the face of goal, but fielded by De Gea in amongst a number of players. And Manchester United, De Gea gives it out quickly to Pereira, who moves it to the left hand side to Martial running at Burnley defenders, now running across the edge of the penalty area, gives it back to Pereira back to Rashford, low shot, and Pope goes down to his left, but the ball bounces wide.
Snapshot from Rashford, struck it well off the base of the post, but again the threat of Manchester United, and you can see why Burnley are so keen to do these little niggly fouls up the pitch, because this is the danger of what Manchester United have, and they have 2, 3, 4, 5 players who can make that difference going through the gears up the pitch. And the Burnley team, that you can't defend against that when they've got the yards and they've got the pitch in front of them. On the flip side, you look at Burnley, and what do you want? You want those niggly little fouls. You want them against you, where you can slow the game down and get everybody in the box and try and get these really dangerous balls into your big man.
That's Rob Green with us on 5 Live here at Turf Moor, and it's Burnley 0, Manchester United 0. And at the other end, they caused Manchester United some discomfort with that set piece that was played in by Westwood and headed across the penalty area by Tarkowski. But it is still 0-0. Manchester United, who've not kept a clean sheet in their last 14 Premier League matches. 14. That's since September. And as I was mentioning, when Mark Lawrenson was with us for the Sheffield United match the other week, which was another thriller, they haven't kept a clean sheet away from home in the Premier League since back in February. 0-0.
Sorry, John, looking at the 2 free kicks that Burnley have hit, they've targeted Ashley Young on both those free kicks. So as you were talking about the details and how much Burnley go into it, and it might seem like a simple game plan, but they know what they're doing in these positions, and they're going to utilise their strengths against the opposition's weaknesses.
Ball played out to Ashley Young, and he's quickly closed down, and now Fred helping out Ashley Young is put under pressure, and McNeil, well, the referee Dean says it's a corner, that McNeil played the ball into Fred, but Fred is apoplectic about the decision and runs towards referee Dean. We're just saying it again, Rob?
Yep, goal kick. It's one of these ones where you say, well, don't want to bring up the three dreaded initials of VAR, but if this goes in, you're not going to review why it's a corner, but you're going to allow a goal.
Them's the rules. Here's the corner. It's a deep one to the back post. Tarkowski backpedaling, couldn't backpedal quickly enough. Got his head to it, but only headed it beyond the far post. And it is a goal kick for Manchester United. So they've got away with that one, the officials, or Mike Dean in particular.
It's been a good start by Burnley, though. We've been impressed. They've been communicating well. I can hear the voices of the Burnley players talking to each other, organising each other. They've got their game plan. They've set up. They're going to stop Manchester United attacking at pace when they can. And so far, they've kept him at bay.
It's great sitting up here. You peer down the James Hargreaves stand in front of us. And every so often, when things aren't going their way, 2 or 3 Burnley fans will get up and wave their arms and shout something that can't be broadcast, even if you can hear them as well, Rob. But the ball's back with De Gea, whose clearance takes a deflection. It's played through to Barnes, who came back from an offside position. So it'll be a free kick to Manchester United in front of their own D.
Second bit of joy that Burnley have got from pressing Manchester United, pressing all the way up to De Gea and making him rush his clearance. And it's not just him, because he wants to play it short. They're clearly being shown by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, we're going to play out from the back. This is how we play, and sometimes they're going to get it wrong.
Flick from Rashford to set away Williams down the left hand side. Bardsley comes sliding in with a challenge, mistimes it. The ball had gone, he caught Williams, who went careering to the ground, and that's a yellow card for Phil Bardsley.
Yeah, nice touch from Rashford, who came inside, dragged the player in with him, and just gave a little flick outside to Williams, who was making the run outside. He had that yard on Barnsley, who, again, a bit like Charlie Taylor early on the other side, decided to make that lunge, but again the ball just rolled out for what would have been a goal kick, but he'd already committed and gave away the free kick in another dangerous position.
So it's a free kick on the left-hand side for Manchester United. The score, Burnley 0, Manchester United 0, and we are midway through the first half. This free kick out on the left-hand side of the Manchester United attacking half. Played in by Pereira, but headed away from near the penalty spot. Comes out to Ashley Young, who took a heavy touch there and had to be quick. But he was, even though there was a little slip from him. Williams, now to Pereira. Martial on the left-hand side. Anthony Martial, 2 goals in the win against Newcastle on Boxing Day. Martial plays it back towards Williams near the halfway line. Brandon Williams. This is only the 8th match that Brandon Williams has started competitively for the Manchester United first team. And now Manchester United with Matic trying to work it away. Fortunate deflection to Williams. Still well inside his own half. A right-footed ball aerially is headed down by Tarkowski. And Burnley have got possession back. In fact, Tarkowski drives it up onto the chest of Wood inside United territory. Fred, though, challenges well. And Manchester United have got it back. When we get to half-time, there'll be further reflections, particularly on the 2 later games in the Premier League today. Norwich 2, Tottenham 2. Tottenham equalising with that late penalty from Harry Kane, and Leicester winning 2-1 at West Ham. Manchester United coming forward. Williams on the left-hand side. Williams now takes it on, looks to Rashford, inside him. Rashford, a little ball through into the penalty area. Pereira tried to work it across, it was deflected and bounces out to Hendrick, who's able to clear it up towards Chris Wood, whose foot was rather high and Harry Kane's head was down, and he caught him. It's nothing serious. Harry Maguire stays on his feet, puts his hand up to his face to see if there's any blood. There isn't, and it's a quick free kick.
Now Chris Wood realised he wasn't going to get there, wasn't going to make it, and just wanted to put Harry Maguire off, making the clean header and a pass into the front 3, and managed to do so, but gave away a free kick in doing so. But again, it was Rashford stepping into the midfield to create that space, and the runners in beyond that gave Manchester United a little bit of joy into the Burnley defence.
Earlier, as Fred plays the ball across, but it deflects into the path of McNeil, and McNeil now working his way away from Pereira does well. Then as Young came forward, McNeil knocked it in field, but just gave possession back to Manchester United. And now here's James on the right hand side. James plays it to Martial, but there are lots of claret and blue all around him. United actually did well to work it back to Martial, who's on his left foot, shoots from an angle, but that was immediately blocked at source by Cork, and the ball rolls out of play on the far side in front of the ever-changing or ever-moving advertising hoardings, and it's a throw-in to Manchester United.
Manchester United, once it gets in and around the Burnley penalty area, a little bit static, and there's not much movement, and they're waiting for someone to do something. And at the moment, when they've got the yards to cover and they've got the space to run into, they're doing so at great threat. But when it gets all a little bit stale, they're all looking at each other a little bit.
Long pass from Bardsley downfield. Wood on the chase. It just skipped away from him off the turf, and that meant that De Gea had come right out to the edge and beyond of his penalty area, was able to whack it right-footed out of play on the far side next to the Manchester United dugout where Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is sitting. Still Burnley 0, Manchester United 0. A half, a few chances so far, and we've played almost half an hour. In fact, I don't think a goalkeeper's made a save yet, have it?
Pope made the save
Pope.
for free kick. Yeah.
That's right, from the free kick, and that has been it. And De Gea hasn't had a great deal to do after his full par in Manchester United's last away game at Watford last weekend. Seems longer ago than last weekend, doesn't it?
Still this season.
Yes. Maguire to Williams now on the left-hand side. Right football infield. Matic through towards Martial, who went down off the ball, and referee Dean rules that Ben Mee did catch Martial after the ball had gone, and it's a free kick to United in a good position.
Well, it's not much further out. It's a bit closer actually than where Rashford's shot before. I'm sure he'll fancy another one. Just waiting for the replays to come up, but nope, not going to see it. But it was a bit of a nothing free kick, a bit like the ones that Chris Wood and Ashley Barnes have won for Barnsley. That they've waited for the challenge, waited for contact, and just gone down probably a little bit dramatically, but does the job all the same.
So it's a free kick, and he's already had a sighter. This has a little bit more of an angle to it, and this one will be, how far out's this? 30 yards.
He hit one like this against Chelsea, I think it was in the Was it the League Cup? Yeah,
It
League
was.
Cup this
Quarter-final.
season. Yeah, not similar sort of angle, similar sort of distance.
So Rashford very interested. Fred standing to the right of the ball. Nick Pope, all in yellow, apart from his green boots, standing a yard off his line. And Rashford waits. The run-up is not long. Rashford strikes it, but it clips the top of the wall. The wall does its job, and Tarkowski gets slaps on the back from Ashley Barnes, and the ball whistled away high over the crossbar for a corner.
A big wall, yep, did its job, and again, talk about the details, but get your biggest men in the wall, and Tarkowski is one of them for Bernley.
Fred's going to take the corner from the left-hand side. Raises both arms. Left-footed outswinger to the near post, which is headed up and away by Bardsley. Got underneath it, and then went sprawling down onto his front on the pitch, but he did his job. Puts his hands to his head now and wipes away the perspiration on this dry night. Not cold enough to see the player's breath on the air. Williams is going to take the throw in right down below us, or way down below us. A brilliant view here, particularly so in the daylight when you can see the hills of Lancashire and all of the rooftops. Young playing the ball over the top down the right hand side, but Bernley will get there first for Burnley and just tap it back to Pope, who no messing, just clears it out of play near the halfway line for a throw in to Manchester United, which is taken back to Lindelof, who will use Maguire and then quickly finds he's closed down by Chris Wood. So it's back to Lindelof, and now Young, and Manchester United being hurried by Burnley here. They're trying to show some composure on the ball, but Fred nicely turns and gives the ball here to Williams, and Williams now moves all the way infield. Pereira gives it back to Fred. First time clip to the right hand side. Daniel James now on the right flank for Manchester United. Fortunate break to Pereira. Pereira pulls it back and gives it to Fred, 30 yards out. Fred looks for Ashley Young, who's arrived on the right hand side. He uses Daniel James, but that was a heavy touch from Pereira, giving it back to McNeil, who went for a first time ball downfield towards Barnes now, and suddenly all energy from Burnley, and it's played through the middle towards Chris Wood, and Chris Wood, Burnley's top scorer this season, now finds Bardsley on the right hand side, but Bardsley's pass infield presents the ball back to Manchester United, and Burnley have men stranded downfield, and now Rashford up towards the edge of the penalty area, uses Pereira on the right hand side. Pereira took a touch and then drives it into the near post, where Bernley is able to clear it, and Taylor, heavy first touch from him, but not too heavy that he wasn't able to recover the ball and clear it away towards the halfway line. A classic contrast between the way that these two teams are playing there over the course of the past couple of minutes.
Yeah, it was good play from Manchester United in the build-up. Burnley saw their opportunity, broke, but then a misplaced pass, and Manchester United then saw their opportunity, but again it was clever defending by Charlie Taylor. His recovery run was narrow, which made the pass go wide, and he could recover to then address Pereira, who put in the poor cross.
That's Rob Green with us on 5 Live. We're watching Burnley 0, Manchester United 0. And a little earlier in the day, before the 5:30 kickoffs, important win for Watford, 3-0 at home against Aston Villa. Southampton and Crystal Palace drew 1-1. Manchester United making ground on the left hand side. Williams again, back to Martial looking for a 1-2 with Rashford, which doesn't quite come off because of the challenge from Bardsley, which prevented it reaching Martial, but it's behind for a corner.
There we go. We were talking about Manchester United needing a bit more movement in and around the box, and that was good from Martial. Just a simple give and go, but it was a great last second challenge to make the difference.
Corner taken short this time by Fred to Pereira. Pereira curls it into the back post, but this one is safely headed away by Taylor, the Burnley left back. Now James loses out to Cork, and Burnley clear, and my goodness, don't they clear through Ashley Barnes, who wrapped his foot round that and sent it bouncing away downfield, and actually McNeil's making it uncomfortable for Ashley Young, who was able to see the ball back to De Gea. Big header won on the halfway line by Tarkowski. Ashley Young for Manchester United. Pereira, the ball was hit with pace towards him, but he controlled it. Now Williams again for Manchester United, and the youngster cuts in field, not for the first time. Martial now rolls it back to Williams, and then a little ball to the edge of the box, where Rashford finds Matic 25 yards out, given the angle. Matic back to Williams again. Williams, then Rashford, but this is all just a little ponderous from Manchester United unless Rashford can explode into action, but he uses Fred, and now closer to the centre circle, Lindelof, a low bouncing pass to the right hand side to James now moving slowly in field, turns, uses Young behind him, and back it goes towards the halfway line. Manchester United still in possession, but Burnley, as you'd expect under Sean Dyche, particularly well drilled. Maguire now to Williams. Williams chips it to the back post, taken down by James, shoots, deflected, Martial with a shot, that's blocked on the line, and the ball bounces to Westwood, who's able to find a teammate in McNeil, and Burnley are able to get it away downfield. And that, the closest we've come to an opening goal, and I think it was Bardsley who blocked it on the line.
Fantastic block on the line by Phil Bardsley. Found himself in the goal on a recovery run after the ball in the initial cross had gone over the top of him, and a great recovery save.
Williams again down the left hand side for Manchester United. He's getting a lot of joy, and now he's looking for a return pass from Rashford, but Tarkowski did well there. Good defending, just got in the way of Williams, and the ball bounced away through for a goal kick. 0-0.
When Williams found himself in space on the left, and Charlie Taylor had tucked in as he should, but Daniel James has kept wide, and the ball had drifted over Charlie Taylor's head. It fell to Martial, and Bardsley, as he found himself on the line, made a fantastic block as Martial smashed it from 6 yards. It's a really sort of fantastic save as such, really. Any goalkeeper would have been proud of.
Burnley actually had two men on the line, so if Bardsley hadn't stopped it, me behind him might have done.
It's another tactic from Dyche. If in doubt, get on the line.
Get on the line. Burnley 0, Manchester United 0, and the ball in the hands of David De Gea, the Manchester United goalkeeper.
Manchester United there showed a bit of patience, and it was the first bit of sustained pressure that they'd had around the Burnley area, and eventually you're wondering how long these Burnley players can keep concentrating for, how long they can keep their legs going, pumping throughout the 90 minutes, but in these little pockets of pressure that they're facing.
If you're on your way home from one of the other matches this afternoon, or indeed something Christmassy, the highlights are on Match of the Day tonight, 10:30, BBC One. Gary Lineker with Danny Murphy, who's on Sports Report earlier, and also Jermaine Genius on the programme tonight. Ball up towards Wood, who is challenged. Some of the home supporters didn't like the challenge from Lindelof, thought it was a foul, but Mike Dean didn't, and that's the important thing. And now Fred towards the halfway line. Young, just a few yards away from where Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is standing. Ball downfield. Mee, even though Nick Pope came to the edge of the area, Ben Mee took control of that and headed it out of play. Didn't take a risk. They take the throw in quickly, Manchester United. James looking to get it back. Pereira's return pass. It looked, I have to say, as though James' run was blocked there, but the return pass rolls behind for a goal kick, and there will be no free kick, so it remains 0-0. Busy day of sport tomorrow. We'll have it all covered for you on 5 Live Sport from midday, and as a special Christmas bonus, we have commentary on the Old Firm match at Celtic Park from 12:30. Celtic against Rangers. I saw Conor McNamara last night. He's on his way up there to commentate on that match with Roddy Forsyth and Pat Nevin. Don't miss that. That could be lively. 12:30 tomorrow, and then after that on the 5 Live Premier League Sunday, Arsenal against Chelsea from 2, and Liverpool Wolves from 4:30 are our commentary matches, but we'll have all of the sport covered, and obviously whatever happens in Centurion in the Test match. England 121 for 1 overnight. We'll have the Cricket Social back on air tomorrow with the Test match special team for the discussion during the course of play, but Jonathan Agnew in South Africa will keep you right across everything during the course of the day on 5 Live. I would have South Africa as strongish favourites to win that, but
odds on surely, no?
That's what I'm expecting. Here's Rashford on the left hand side. Rashford, 2 Burnley defenders with him. Rashford just skips infield, the ball rolling at his feet, uses Fred back onto his left foot. Fred, now there's space again for Williams on the left hand side, who arrives. First time ball across the 6-yard box. No one in there got a touch, whether in beige or in claret and blue.
It's actually fantastic defending by me. Pope's gone down injured here, I'm not sure why, but Brandon Williams again getting space on the left, and he put in a fantastic ball, low ball. Goalkeepers and defenders hate where neither of them are going for it, and neither of them want to get a touch, but Need just did enough to put off Martial getting to the ball.
Not sure whether Nick Pope's just gone over on his ankle in there.
He must have twisted it whilst he was turning to face the ball in the middle of the goal. I haven't seen it, but he seems in some discomfort and went down immediately.
Obviously Joe Hart waiting on the substitutes bench, and I guess somewhere over there on the far side
he's actually slipped on the goal line where the paint is. He's set back into the position, I think, and his studs have given way behind. Oh,
how odd.
It looks like nothing, but seems to be in some pain.
There just didn't seem to be anything in that at all.
No,
he wasn't close to the ball,
but he's coming off, I think. Joe Hart's getting stripped off and ready.
Yeah, in amongst a crowd of players. In actual fact, Sean Dyche has taken the opportunity to gather together all of his outfield players over there on the far side of the field, some of them taking swigs of water, but discussions are going on, and yet Joe Hart is getting ready to come on for his first Premier League appearance of the season, and Nick Pope is receiving lengthy treatment to his right ankle, and as Rob Green said, there really didn't seem to be anything in that at all.
No, I think he might have done some serious damage there, or some at least painful, because the only reason I think he's staying down is because to give Joe more time to get ready, because I don't think as a goalkeeper you're going to be overly prepared, but you know he's staying on as such, but it seemed as though he was going to be coming off, and he looked in a real bother.
It looks as though he's going to be okay. Yeah, you can hear the warm applause from the home supporters, and Nick Pope now back on his feet is walking, sort of skipping out towards the edge of the penalty area as if kicking imaginary balls with both his right and his left foot, and he's really testing it out.
It's Lazarus. He's signalling to the bench that he was coming off, and what he doesn't need now is a back pass straight away, but we'll see what happens.
Joe Hart, however, is still warming up, and perhaps inadvisedly, the former Manchester City goalkeeper has trotted all the way down the touchline right towards the Manchester United fans, who've got about 2/3
rapturous applause.
Yes, I think City Reject was the song that was
I'm
being
sure
sung
given a
there.
choice Joe wouldn't have run down that but I think FA regulations
decree that he has to, although he did go right down there into the corner flag, maybe just to say hi, how are you doing?
Remember me.
Yeah. Burnley 0, Manchester United 0. It's been a little disappointing, in truth.
It's it's been a game that, you know, Burnley up until the last 5-10 minutes would have been really pleased with. I think Sean Dyche, that little break that Pope's injury gave them, regroup, get some communication, reorganise, and just, you know, when they were getting the ball they were losing it too easy, and when they were just getting a little bit leggy, you know, we're a long way into the half, they've been pressing hard all half, and it's very hard to sustain that over 45 minutes.
Poor kick from David De Gea, way over the head of Rashford, and David De Gea's reaction, as he's mocked by the Burnley supporters, is to put his palms wide apart, throw in, which is taken to Westwood, who volleys it forward downfield. Barnes is in the area, shoots on the turn, and it's well wide. I think he was going for goal, but also thinking about a deflection off Lindelof, but as it turned out, it was neither on target nor got a touch off Lindelof, and it's a goal kick.
No, it's a first time ball from Ashley Westwood, as simple as they come, a volley ball over the top, and the Manchester United back four were a little bit asleep there. They weren't a back four at all, they were a 1 and a 2 and a 1, and so from that he's given him a chance with a well-timed run, but not a great finish.
Yeah, clearly Burnley, Sean Dyche, the players out there looking to prey on this defensive vulnerability that there is for Manchester United, and here they are again, closing them down. McNeil onto Young, but Young gets the pass forward towards James. Now Fred to Matic, and then Fred onto his left foot, curls a ball for Williams up against Bardsley backpedaling. Williams into the penalty area, and the ball deflects across the edge of the box and is cleared away out of play for a throw to Manchester United.
He does well there, Phil Barsley. Tracks are on, keeps with him, doesn't commit. He's already been booked, and just times his tackle just to get it away from Brandon Williams, who's still proving a threat and getting a lot of joy down this way.
0-0. Half time, approximately 2.5 minutes plus added time away. And in the first half, just the one save, Nick Pope from Rashford, although the ball's played across now to Martial, who's able to finish. Truly, there was space for him there in the middle. Pereira delivered the ball across to Martial, and the finish was clinical, and it is Burnley 0, Manchester United 1.
Well, that hard work from Burnley throughout the half, and it's just a slip from Charlie Taylor. He gets the ball facing his own goal on the touchline. He has a moment to deal with it and doesn't, and Pereira's on him, nicks it off him, and it's a simple job from there. It's a good ball across, and realistically Martial, it's the only real opening that they've created, but it's one that he does well to finish. He looks at Pope, watches Pope, sees he's going to commit, and just strokes it past him into the corner. A one-touch ball, two-touch finish. It's about as simple as they come, but at the same time it's Burnley's own undoing.
Yeah, Charlie Taylor, he actually kept the ball in on the far side of the field when he could have allowed it to roll out. Yeah. He kept it in, the touch was heavy, that presented it to Pereira, and as I say, for once, because of that, there was space in the middle, and Martial used that space to score his 10th goal of the season, into double figures for Manchester United. The United fans inside the ground have let off a red smoke bomb, and that is billowing away, that red smoke behind De Gea's goal, high above the roof of the stand and into the Burnley night sky. I think another one's been let off as well behind the goal. So Manchester United scoring just before half time, and actually they showed the television camera showed Sean Dyche, who turned and put his head on the top of the dugout in despair at the fact that it was a mistake, a defensive mistake, that led to the opening goal.
Yeah, Burnley haven't been electric, they haven't been amazing this half, but what they've done, they've been really diligent and really disciplined, and it's so frustrating to put in all that hard work and then something like that happens, and these things happen in football, but you try and keep them to a minimum.
So Martial with his third goal of the week, and Manchester United coming again, trying to feed it through to James, but this time Charlie Taylor got there first ahead of James, and the offside flag is up against Burnley. 3 minutes of added time at the end of this first half, and that is 4 goals in his last 4 appearances for Anthony Martial, and he took it well, but you'd expect a player of his quality in that position to do so, 10-12 yards out, something like that.
Yeah, you expect him to do it in his sleep. Those are the ones that meet and drink for a centre forward in form of his quality. You're looking at that saying, well, it's going to be a miracle for a goalkeeper to get anything on it, and so it proved. It was a tidy finish.
And now here's James, Manchester United looking for a second goal, but James' ball infield is intercepted and Burnley clear it away. A little like the game that I was watching last night, that real absolute thriller between Wolves and Manchester City. A big mistake in that match turned it. That error by Mendy, and here an error just before half time. The goal coming in the 44th minute from Charlie Taylor, and Manchester United pouncing. Make mistakes like that in the Premier League, and very often you will be punished and you will concede goals.
Yeah, you play against the big teams, and you realise that as a defensive unit, as a team, you've got to have a game which is near as 10 out of 10 to get anything from it, and you hope that they come up with a 5 out of 10 or a 4 or a 6 out of 10 to give yourself a chance. And if you go and do things like that, then obviously you're not performing at a 9 or a 10 out of 10, and you're not really giving yourself a chance. But they've done well this half, I think, Burnley defensively. Like we said, it's just that one slip, and it must be so frustrating.
1-0 Manchester United lead. BBC Radio 5 Live. Half-time approaching. We'll have more on those earlier matches at half-time with Nick Bright, who's presenting 5 Live Sport tonight, and indeed will be tomorrow from 12 o'clock. And Will Brazier from Sporf, who's alongside him at the half-time break, as Wood puts in the challenge on Matic, and the ball breaks now for Burnley on the right hand side in added time at the end of the first half. Bardsley, couple of touches, curls it into the back post. McNeil plays it across, far too much on that. Westwood hits it back across the penalty area, and it's cleared away by Lindelof. Burnley with Cork on the edge of the box, but he couldn't take the ball down and take it on, and as Manchester United broke away, a little foul by Cork on James results in a Manchester United free kick.
Well, the ball came to Phil Bardsley, and he had 2 or 3 touches thinking about what to do with it. And at the start of the game we were saying, well, they just put it in the box, it's a good ball, put it in the box. And he waited and waited and then finally put it in, and it fell to McNeil, who actually managed to hit it further away from the goal than he was, which turned out to be another good ball. And it was a bit of pinball, but in the end you just think your strength is getting the ball in the box. Get it in the box. Manchester United's weakness is defending these balls. Get it in the box.
Burnley 0, Manchester United 1. You've not done a commentary game with us here at Burnley before. Let me tell you, we won't be going anywhere at half time.
I don't think I can.
No, it's a physical impossibility, but I do believe they do bring tea and coffee to us, so that will
I'll be grateful for that.
Yes, so I think that will be happening. That's what they normally do. But there's the half time whistle. Mike Dean drawing a close to the first half, and Sean Dyche, just look at him, Rob. I mean, that body language as he walks across the field, I think gives a real mirror on how he feels about what's happened just before half time.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at his team talk now and how it's changed over that, but he's got to commend his team in their defending, but you're expecting them to maybe, when they get the ball, give a little bit more. You can't make mistakes like that against Manchester United, and they've been punished.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer sauntering across the pitch with his coaches, Michael Carrick next to him, but Sean Dyche marching across, arms swinging, chewing on his gum, and I think he's going to raise his voice at half time. That would be my guess. So Anthony Martial scoring just before the 45 minutes were up after the mistake from Charlie Taylor, and at half time here at Turf Moor it's Burnley 0, Manchester United 1. Nick. Thank you, Nick. I'm just looking actually because Joe Hart's been involved in an extensive warm-up session at half time. And after Nick Pope had that problem with his ankle in the latter part of the first half, just to see if he is coming out, but he is. Nick Pope is out there, and Joe Hart actually is pulling on a warm jacket on the far side of the ground. But there's obviously still a concern over him.
Yeah, you saw the goal when they scored, and Nick Pope sort of thought about coming out towards Martial, but didn't, and stayed and waited and then committed. But I think that might have been down to the injury as well, that he wasn't as mobile as he wanted to be. But we'll see. He seems to be jumping up and down on the spot now. He's moving okay, and but yeah, it was certainly a more rigorous warm-up than Joe would have probably been expecting at half-time.
There must be something like 30 people crossing the pitch to sit in the dugouts and in the immediate environment, and actually Sean Dyche is almost the last of them, and he's having just to have a little trot for his last 2 or 3 strides to get off the pitch, and the second half is about to begin. Burnley 0, Manchester United 1. There's the whistle. Burnley get us underway, claret and blue shirts, white shorts, white socks, and Manchester United in that goldy beige change kit. Long ball forward for Burnley, but an offside flag up against Chris Wood, and a free kick to Manchester United on the edge of their own penalty area. No substitutions at half time, so the teams as they started the match, and I'll run you through them in a moment or two. But here's James on the right hand side for Manchester United, running at Taylor, plays it round one side, suggesting he got to touch Taylor, but Taylor keeps it in and turns it away, and McNeil nicely drags it away from Pereira, and McNeil plays it up towards Barnes, and now back to young McNeil on the left hand side, whose ball towards Wood is won by Lindelof, and Manchester United clear it away, and then there's a foul on Ashley Young. You can hear the home reaction to that. Challenged by McNeil, free kick to Manchester United. So the Burnley team: Pope, Bardsley, Tarkowski, Mee and Taylor making the error that led to the Manchester United goal, scored by Martial just before half time. Hendrick, Westwood, Cork and McNeil, Wood and Barnes up front. And Manchester United, no Paul Pogba, if you didn't hear earlier, not in the 18. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer not wanting to overexert him after having come back from that long spell out with injury. So De Gea in goal, Young, Lindelof, Maguire and Williams, Fred and Matic, James, Pereira, Rashford and Martial. So 1-0 Manchester United lead. Second minute of the second half. Still some supporters, certainly in the stand at the cricket field end, returning to their seats. In fact, dozens and dozens of them arriving through that big entrance in the middle of the stand and moving back to their places as Barnes on the fall plays it downfield. Heavy touch by Maguire, but De Gea comes out of his penalty area and is able to clear it away long and aerially. Then Pereira who set up the goal for Martial, carries the ball out towards the left hand side, looks for Williams now up against Hendrick on that far side. Williams slips it through into the penalty area. Rashford takes it on, but the defender Tarkowski came in with a challenge and was able to get a touch on it, which took it behind for a corner to Manchester United early in the second half here.
Yeah, it was good play by Manchester United down the left. Williams picks up the ball again, a threat in the first half, and he looks up into the box and there's no one there. And so rather than cross it to no one, plays a clever little ball to Rashford, who Tarkowski manages to get a good tackle in on.
Take a quick free kick on the take a quick corner on the left hand side, played back to Williams. Williams ball in is straight through to Pope, who's able to take the ball into his chest. So Burnley 0, Manchester United 1. I think the temperature is dipping. There is quite a lively breeze actually blowing across Turf Moor in this stadium, in this town which is nestled amongst the hills of Lancashire. James in on the challenge on halfway. Here's Jack Cork now, and then Chris Wood, the New Zealander, finds McNeil. Bardsley's available, but Hendrick goes for goal from 25 yards and blazes it away wide and high. And there's an angry reaction from dozens and dozens of Burnley fans on their feet in front of us.
Well, they've played good one-touch football there, Burnley, and Jeff Hendrick gets the ball in the middle of the park, and he's hitting a one-a-season strike there, and Phil Bardsley's in acres of space, and he didn't hear the 20,000 Burnley fans screaming at him to pass it, but he certainly did afterwards when he hit it high and handsome and wide.
They are quickly onto you here if you do the wrong thing. 1-0 Manchester United. Here's goal scorer Martial running up 3-4 Burnley now, and then laying it off to Rashford, and now Fred, who's been extremely industrious and quite efficient in the Manchester United midfield. James now down the right hand side, low ball into the penalty area, bounces back, Martial left foot, finishes.
Free kick.
But the free kick is given and the goal is ruled out for a shove on
Tarkowski, I think,
and it's a free kick for Burnley, and there are no protests.
No,
from Manchester
it was a foul. Tarkowski was going to clear the ball 6 yards out, gave him a little nudge. He was happy to fall over, win the free kick. The resulting goal was inconsequential, really.
1-0 remains the score to Manchester United. Rob Green watching with us here on BBC 5 Live, and we're watching Rashford carrying the ball forward. Pereira tried to flick it back to him inside the penalty area, but only succeeded in laying it off, and then the pass is overhit by Bardsley downfield by probably 30 yards, and he hangs his head, and Manchester United have got possession back with Nemanja Matic, twice a Premier League winner in his Chelsea days, rolls the ball to Williams on the left hand side. Now Pereira, Brandon Williams, the teenager, has seen an awful lot of the ball and has had quite a lot of joy down the left flank, and that's continuing to be the case in the second half. Back though Manchester United go towards big Harry Maguire, big chest, big head of course, long crossfield pass that James can't control, and it bounces through for a goal kick. 1-0 Manchester United.
I think Burnley here need to be, as much as they want to concentrate on their defending and get that right, and where they fell foul in the first half was not doing such, but also when they get the ball, just to sort of miss-hit passes, it doesn't give them that breather that they need to get up the pitch and just keep hold of the ball for sort of 20 or 30 seconds just to give the defence the breather, and after an hour or 70 minutes, that's when it starts to show. If you've been defending for the whole of that time, then it's a really tough night, and you just need that little breather up the pitch.
Manchester United then leading through Martial's 10th goal of the season for Manchester United, and here McNeil can't control the pass that was actually hit at him with some force by Charlie Taylor from 7 or 8 yards away, out of play for a throw. Manchester United take it. Martial is onto it now. Pereira takes it over. The challenge comes in from Westwood. applause for the job that he's done in there. And then Nick Pope clears from inside his penalty area to the halfway line. Hendrick. Now Westwood takes it on, gives it to Bardsley, who was looking for the early pass, but it was closed down by Rashford, who very nearly kept the deflected ball in on the far side. If he had, he would have been away for sand down the left-hand side, but he didn't.
No, got away with one there, Burnley, and Rashford's eyes lit up. You see from his body language, he was sprinting after that ball because he knew that was his moment.
Now Fred for Manchester United again. A little more direct, Manchester United, but then James couldn't find the ball through the inside left position to Rashford, and that was intercepted by Tarkowski on the edge of the area. Burnley's last 3 matches have all finished 1-0. Boxing Day 0-1 against Everton, Bournemouth 1-0 away, Newcastle 1-0 at home, and this is also 0-1. Burnley coming forward, trying to find the second goal of the match to draw level. Taylor, the lightly bearded left back, takes it on now down into the full-back position. The low cross is headed down and away by Lindelof, and then Pereira hooks it further away, but Burnley retake possession. Tarkowski to McNeil, who wonderfully gets away from 2 Manchester United men, and then gives it to the right-hand side to Barnes, back to McNeil again, who then works it centrally to Cork. Taylor now crossing from the left-hand side, but into the back of James, who turned his back into it and blocked the cross. Cork again, Jack Cork. Taylor in field, Hendrick, who for the time being is on the left-hand side, and you can hear the home supporters urging their team on. Bardsley with a cross, but he's overhit that from the right-hand side, and it sails away over the heads of everyone inside the box and behind for a goal kick, and it's still Burnley 0, Manchester United 1.
No, it was better from Burnley, a bit of sustained pressure, which not only you give yourself more of a chance of scoring, but it just takes the emphasis away from you defending. It was a great turn by McNeil, who must have had his rear view mirror on and his wing mirrors on, because he had 2 or 3 players to contend with, and just turned calmly and very precisely out of danger and carried on playing. It was really nice to see.
So 1-0 in this Saturday night Premier League fixture. And now the space for Pereira centre field after Taylor lost out a header to James. Pereira's taken the ball on 30 yards, and then an angle pass to Martial, who shoots, and it's saved by the legs of Pope, who seemed to react a little late to that and actually kicked it away. It was straight at him, and actually if he hadn't kicked it away, it was heading straight between his legs. United again coming forward. Rashford up to James, but 2 challenges there from me on the edge of the box, and now Ashley Westwood takes it away over the halfway line for Burnley. Back to Hendrick for Westwood again, and then Westwood, a raking ball to the edge of the area, which is headed down and away by Harry Maguire. Get a word from Rob Green on that latest save from Nick Pope. It certainly wasn't what you'd call routine.
No, Nick Pope knows to use his feet a lot for saves. You see him the game against Everton, he made a good save with his legs, and he uses it a lot. He's such a tall guy, he'll stand up and trust his legs to make the save. I don't think it helped his ankle injury, because it was bang on the ankle that he injured in the first half, and seems to be labouring a bit now.
Yeah, just having a look to see if Joe Hart is out there on the far side, but he's not. Remains 1-0 to Manchester United, and here is Martial, back to Ashley Young, who goes back to Lindelof inside his own half. Harry Maguire, now Williams working it infield to Pereira, but that was cut out. Quick footwork from James Tarkowski, the England international. Now to McNeil, who's made his first appearance for the England under-21s this season. Taylor with a cross from the left-hand side, headed down by Maguire, comes out to Hendrick. Hendrick goes for goal, and this one is wilder than his earlier effort and flies away probably 30 yards wide of the goal into the lower tier of the stand to our left.
It was a cross in from Charlie Taylor, and it wasn't the greatest clearance, and I think Jeff Hendrick had about 15-yard run up at it and all the time in the world to think about it, and then I'm sure he didn't think about blazing it high and wide like that, but unfortunately for him it wasn't the greatest of efforts.
No, it wasn't.
Being kind.
Yeah. Manchester United playing it up towards James, but Burnley will take possession. In fact, Mee will allow it to bounce out of play for a throw-in. I think we're going to see the first change for Burnley. Looks as though Rodriguez is going to come on. And we have some news here concerning one of your former clubs, Rob. The news is that West Ham have confirmed that Manuel Pellegrini has left the club with immediate effect.
Yeah, that was half-time team talk that did that.
Here now, Burnley on the left-hand side. McNeil crossing, and it's blocked behind for a corner to Burnley. Only their second of the match, their first of the second half. So that news that has just been confirmed by West Ham, that Manuel Pellegrini, their manager, has left the club. So we'll have more on that later, and indeed, I would imagine, on breakfast in the morning. But a corner to Burnley from the left-hand side. But will be swung in by Westwood into the 6-yard box. Lindelof was underneath it to head it away. Burnley win it back though. McNeil, low shot across the face of goal and beyond the far post. There were two men in the middle, but McNeil had every right to go for goal from that position.
Yeah, it was a good tackle on the edge of the box, because Manchester United looked like they were going to break, and it was Bardsley that made the challenge. And McNeil, he had an opening, he had a sight at goal, so he went for it, but dragged it wide.
So Sean Dyche is going to take off Jeff Hendrick, and it's going to be Jay Rodriguez who will come on. So we'll see Rodriguez, Wood and Barnes all on the field at the same time for Burnley. Rodriguez, who returned here to Burnley last summer from West Brom for an excellent season last season, scored 4 goals so far this season. He's appeared in all 21 matches now for Burnley this season in either league or cup, whether it be as a substitute or having started the match, and he's taken up a position on the right hand side. Burnley 0, Manchester United 1. United's travelling support in great voices, as they always are, the hardcore of their support, although of course we are only about an hour away from Old Trafford where we sit here in Burnley. Manchester United with Rashford down the left hand side, onto his right foot, went for goal, but it was blocked away by Rodriguez. Bounces up towards Wood. Rodriguez first time, ball right across the field here to Barnes, who takes it down. He's up against Ashley Young. Barnes turns, faces the play, but then his ball is over the top of Wood and bounces through to De Gea.
Yeah, just that bit of quality on the ball that Burnley needed. It was a good ball by Jay Rodriguez, but then Barnes just needed that quality into Chris Wood, just to get the ball up the field, to sustain bit of pressure, what we're talking about, but it wasn't there. And again, Manchester United come forward.
They do. Rashford back towards Matic. Anthony Martial scored the only goal of this match so far in the 44th minute. Ball played up by Lindelof to Martial. Tarkowski had to be on his game there against Martial. It was 1 against 1, and Tarkowski came out on top, and then Mee is bundled off the ball and to the ground by Pereira. And you can hear the home supporters. They want a yellow card for Pereira for that, but it's only going to be a free kick.
Yeah, it's one that I think the Burnley fans are remembering, the tackle by Phil Bardsley in the first half, where he committed and Daniel Pereira went in, not dissimilarly, but all the same it was in a kneeless position, and Charlie Taylor knew what he's doing, just nicked the ball in front of him, took the foul and move up the pitch.
Free kick to Burnley that Pope is going to take. Here it goes, all the way down the middle. Wood chested it down, then Fred came in with the challenge, good one as well, just took it away from the Burnley top scorer, and now Young chips it up towards Pereira, who heads it down. James got a touch, he was caught by Mee, it bounces forward to Martial, and even though Manchester United are coming forward, the play has been brought back, and it is a yellow card for the challenge on James, and it was late from Ben Mee. He did catch him, but I was a little surprised that it was brought back.
I think they just waited that fraction of a second, and Martial had just lost it at the edge of the box. It got nicked away from him, but both centre-halves were committed then. Tarkowski to the first ball, Mead then to the second ball, and I think it was one that it was a do-or-die situation for me, and he had to make the tackle one way or another.
Definite yellow card, that's what he's got. By the way, we've now passed the 19 matches in the Premier League this season, so you now need 10 yellow cards to trigger a 2-match suspension in the Premier League. Free kick for Manchester United then. This is about halfway between the halfway line and the penalty area, right of centre. Pereira and Fred together. Rashford has already had a couple of goes from distance, but he's going to leave it for the delivery into the box here. Burnley holding their line on the edge of the penalty area. Pereira will chip it in, and it's gone all the way through. Tarkowski just allowed it to float across his chest and behind for a goal kick. So Burnley 0, Manchester United 1. If you just switched on, the news that's been announced by West Ham in the last few minutes, that Manuel Pellegrini has left his job as the manager of West Ham. So yet another Premier League club looking for a new manager, Rob, this season.
Yeah, they've reached that point in the season, January coming up, and it's kind of much like Everton were. They've reached that point, and we're close enough to the relegation zone to decide that now's the time for a change, and the gamble is whether you get that bounce that Everton have done, or whoever have taken that chance with Watford, or these clubs that looking for that new manager bounce. That's certainly what West Ham need right now.
How many Premier League clubs now is that who've changed their manager this season? Watford have changed theirs twice.
Well, yeah, I was going to say 22 with Watford.
Arsenal, Tottenham, Everton. Long one forward towards Barnes on the edge of the box, who chests it down but is adjudged to be offside. So it's a free kick to Manchester United in front of their penalty area, and De Gea will come forward to take this. One thing I must do, actually, as well as seeing that excellent match at Molineux last night, I also, when I got back to my car at around about 11:30, found it had a flat tyre. Here's Young playing the ball away. Matic, back it goes to Lindelof. Lindelof up towards Pereira. Pereira drives the ball out towards the left-hand side. Rashford takes it down. He's one-on-one with Bardsley. Rashford bursting into the penalty area, but then the covering challenge came in, and it needed to as well from Rodriguez. And his sliding tackle inside the box took the ball away behind for a corner.
Great defending there from the pair of them. Phil Bardsley just holding him up long enough and allowing him to come inside, knowing that Jay Rodriguez was making that covering run, and he timed his tackle to perfection.
Pereira takes the corner this time to Fred. It's a short one. Pereira then works it infield to Williams on his right foot, so score with his right foot against Sheffield United. James shoots though, then it comes out to Matic, who has a swing and sends it well wide and behind for a goal kick. So I returned to my car last night, flat tyre. Rang up the people you have to ring up.
No, you don't have to ring them, you can change it yourself.
I could have changed it myself, actually. I could have changed it myself. You're absolutely, and I can do that. However, I had an hour and a half to drive, and I thought I'm going to ring them up. So the guy on the phone said there could be a 2-hour wait here. I put the phone down, and then immediately the man from the breakdown service rings up and says, "I'm right behind you." It was the fastest reaction I've ever had from a breakdown service.
He let your tyre down.
And it was a guy called Stuart in Wolverhampton based, who was the breakdown driver, who was absolutely fantastic last night. So I just want to thank him. His son was a Wolverhampton Wanderers fan, and he was at the match last night. So whether that was connected with the fact that he was around the corner or not, I don't know. But thank you very much, Stuart, whose surname is unknown. Here is Pereira. Pereira now on the right-hand side. James back to the halfway line, and then Fred. Manchester United leading by 1-0. If they win this, Manchester United will be 5th again. They'll be 1 point behind Chelsea. Martial, Rashford through to Martial, who was challenged in the box by Bardsley as the ball ran through. Mike Dean is going to have a look at that, is he?
I think VAR will.
VAR will certainly look at that. Now the ball was played through. Whether it was just a collision between the two of them, and Martial was looking for it, I think collision.
Yeah. I think in Phil Bardsley's defence, he can't disappear. He's allowed to stand his ground, and that's pretty much what he did. Whether you were raising the question of whether it being a foul or not, purely because it's clever play from a defender sometimes who goes down holding his head, pretending he's the injured party. But in that case, it was actually just a collision of sorts.
So it will be a free kick. In fact, it will be an uncontested drop ball, won't it, on the edge of the penalty area. And Bardsley actually came off worst, and he's just being led off the field, and he'll have to come back on. Still Burnley 0, Manchester United 1. So yeah, the news tonight, Manuel Pellegrini has left his position as manager of West Ham after their 2-1 home defeat to Leicester. They're battling against relegation. I suppose the question will be, as Ashley Barnes commits another little foul against Ashley Young, and that's given us a free kick against the Burnley number 10. And we're going to see a second Burnley change now that Sean Dyche is preparing to make, and it is going to be Ashley Barnes who will make way, and it's going to be the Icelandic international Johan Berg Gudmundsson who is going to replace him.
I think Rodriguez will come into the middle with Chris Wood, and Gudmundsson will go wide, and they'll revert back to a more traditional 4-4-2 now.
Yeah, gave it a little go with Rodriguez on the right, but I guess that was maybe part of the plan. Barnes, who came on as a substitute at Goodison Park on Boxing Day. So Johan Berg Gudmundsson, who's not played a lot of football this season because of injury. This is only his 6th appearance of the season. Taylor, high ball down the left-hand side. Wood with Lindelof, the two of them tangling together. Wood goes to ground. Not sure there was a great deal in that. That was the classic 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, but it's given us a free kick to Burnley.
Well, it was the least bit of physicality between the two of them in that little duel in the end, and Chris Wood just about managed to get his body the right side of Lindelof, who just put his arm over the top of him, forced him a little bit, and Chris Wood was happy to go down. And this is what Burnley were doing a little bit in the first half and need to do more of to get themselves back in the game.
Still 1-0 Manchester United, 5 live. We are beyond the midway point of the second half. McNeil takes the free kick into the back post. It's headed away by Matic. It comes out for the shot from Bardsley, and that is a fine save from De Gea, because it was through a crowd of players and he got down so quickly to his right to palm it away and got enough on it to deflect it round the post.
Fantastic save. He's watched it all the way. Strong hand is going away from him. Bardsley thinks he's scored.
Corner. Westwood takes it into the back post. Bernley with a header down into Williams. That deflected it wide of the far post, and it's another corner from the other side.
Yeah, 2 set pieces, 2 best bits of pressure that Burnley have had so far in the game, and the crowd are up, and surprise, surprise, Burnley gets set pieces, and this is what happens.
De Gea, excellent save. I think that's the first thing he's had to do in terms of making a save. Burnley's first attempt on target. Here's the corner from the opposite side. McNeil plays it in underneath the crossbar almost, and De Gea twisted and got a hand to it. Did well to get a fist to it to deflect it across the penalty area, and Matic now completes the clearance. Well, that little spell there is the most concerted period of pressure that Burnley have put on the Manchester United defence. Taylor stumbles and just in time recovered before Pereira could nip the ball away from him. Then a little foul on Cork. Burnley take the free kick quickly. McNeil chips it out towards the right hand side. Substitute Gudmundsson back to the cross from the right hand side, that's headed down and away by Lindelof, and then challenge from Taylor, but the referee's going to play an advantage. Taylor committed a foul, and then Pereira commits a foul, but first of all referee Dean will walk across to Charlie Taylor and show him a yellow card for his initial foul when Manchester United were looking to break away.
Yeah, Mike Dean playing an extended period at advantage there, and I think that's what the Burnley fans have got a gripe with, but Charlie Taylor just caught him late, and it's a clear booking and played an advantage, so there's no real problems there. But fantastic goalkeeping from David De Gea earlier, 1 for the save, but 2, when you're under pressure against a physical big team like Burnley, you need your keeper to come and make punches and clearances, and that's what he did, and took the pressure off the team. 3 of Burnley's back 4 have been booked now: Bardsley, Mee and Taylor.
They'll have a stoppage because James is still receiving treatment. I think there's going to be a change as well on the far side. Is that Jesse Lingard over there who's about to come on? And producer Gary Flintoff has produced a piece of paper which tells us that it is 5 teams in the Premier League now who've changed their manager during the course of this season, and Watford of course have done it twice, and with 3 new men at the start of the season at Chelsea, Newcastle and Brighton. That's nearly since the start of, since last summer onwards, that's nearly half of the Premier League have changed their manager. Who will be in contention for West Ham then? Rafa Benitez has been talked about, hasn't he?
He's carte blanche, isn't he? That just basically makes him more expensive. Emery is an obvious shout. I'd imagine they've got their irons in fires already, as you'd expect every modern day football club to have.
Do you think that's a fair decision by West Ham?
I think yes. I think it's one that he's been there a while, and he's talking about shaping the team and having a say in the signings, and for one reason or another, it's not worked. And now, the momentum needs to change at a club like West Ham, where when it starts going wrong, it can go horribly wrong, and it can be a really tough place to play your home games. And you need that crowd. They're a wonderful crowd to play in front of when they're on your side. But when they're not, you need proper people who can stand up and be counted, and sometimes that can be too much for players.
Lingard replacing Pereira here, so you're not missing anything, and James has received treatment. He will come back onto the field. I think as well, I've seen a little bit of West Ham this season actually, and I would say it is the old argument, he's not been getting the best out of his players this season.
This is it, and you look at it as an owner and you say, well, what we've given you the tools and you're happy with it, and he's been there for a number of transfer windows, and in the end you say, well, enough is enough, and I don't think if you compare it to the Watford managers, he can have any complaints really.
The early favourite, according to the bookmakers, is David Moyes to go back there and do what he's done previously.
I thought you were going to say Sam Allardyce.
That would go down well.
Oh.
Burnley 0, Manchester United 1. Less than 20 minutes to play. Burnley have come back more into it, but still De Gea's had just that one save, albeit a very good save to make. Sean Dyche has made a couple of changes, so Lingard's on now, playing in the Pereira role. Jesse Lingard back with Nick Pope, who will clear it long towards the left-hand side. Burnley, who are now down in 13th place after the earlier matches, but in a position, Burnley, this morning where they were 6 points above the relegation zone, but also at the same time 6 points off 5th at the halfway stage of the season, and I think that represents a decent first half of the campaign for Burnley, who continue to certainly not be among the biggest spenders in the Premier League by a country mile. Here's Matic now forced out towards the far side and loses out, nipped away from him by Rodriguez, the Burnley lad, moves infield from the right hand side and now finds Westwood to the edge of the area. The challenge was late by Harry Maguire, took Jack Cork, who took a touch, went down. It's a free kick, good position, just outside the D to the right.
Jay Rodriguez coming on, and Goodmanson as well has given a little bit more energy to Burnley, and they've pressed Matic there, 3 of them around him, and Rodriguez nicked it, played a good 1-2 on the edge of the box, and they've just drawn a foul, and it's Goodmanson's a specialist in these positions, and he'll relish this.
He's got the ball, Johan Berg Goodmanson. Harry Maguire was complaining there that he got the ball, but he got the ball and he got the man as well, Cork. So it's a free kick from the right. McNeil is there as well, puts his hand over his mouth while he speaks to Goodmanson, but Goodmanson looks as though he will take this. He likes the look of it, you can tell, standing with left foot in front of right, up to the ball, curls it towards the top corner but over the angle of post and bar. De Gea was quickly to his left but knew it was flying over the top.
I always watch the reaction of goalkeepers on free kicks, and De Gea there just happy to see it sail over the bar, knew it was going over the bar, and very comfortably watching it.
Into the last 15 minutes we go. Burnley 0, Manchester United 1. Here at Turf Moor on a Saturday night. The stands are full. There'll be over 21,000 inside the stadium with its 4 individual stands. Although there's a new construction in that corner between the stand to our left and the Bob Lord stand. Very modern. I think the police control box is up there. It looks almost space age. That construction, 3 tiers on the far side. A number of people standing on the balcony on the 3rd tier watching down as Manchester United, with Lingard passing the ball straight out of play for a Burnley throw. Charlie Taylor will take the throw. Short to Cork. And then back to the fair head. Former Manchester City youngster, remember, Ben Mee. Helped on by McNeil, but Nemanja Matic, who's so graceful on the ball when he's at his best, shows a bit of that and gives it to Lingard. Now back to James. Ashley Young, low ball in towards goal scorer Martial, but his layoff was poor. And Burnley now with Rodriguez, who turns and gives this ball into space on the right hand side. Bardsley to Goodmanson. Goodmanson cuts inside Brandon Williams, and then a left-footed ball flighted towards this left-hand side, but Ashley Young anticipated it, got there first, headed it down. James wins a throw-in for Manchester United halfway inside the visitors' half.
Good defending by Ashley Young. Was occupied by an attacker, waited and waited, picked his moment. We could go and win the challenge, and it just takes a sting out of Burnley when after they had that good spell, it looked like they might be having a break of their own, and that just nullifies it.
Manchester United take the throw, but Burnley win possession back. Goodmanson won't reach that crossfield ball though, and Williams actually is onto it, and Williams is off and running now, and Williams gives it to Rashford on the left hand side. Rashford now running at Bardsley into the penalty area. Rashford just dinked it up towards the defender who was coming across, and I think he was trying to knock it into perhaps the arm of Mee as he arrived, but it was blocked away, and then Rodriguez, as Burnley come down the other end, gets it all wrong, trying to find Wood, and the ball just drifted away behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, Martial had Bardsley backing off into his own box, and he had him running scared because he knows he can't tackle him. He's been booked and he was in the penalty area, and it would have been game over if he'd have done that. So it was a strange choice. He could have kept running and basically passed it into the net, but decided a little threaded through ball, chipped through ball, and it didn't come off.
Oh, poor goal kick from De Gea, gave it straight to Westwood near the centre circle. Westwood now to Goodmanson. Goodmanson up against Brandon Williams. Still Goodmanson comes inside onto his left foot, then here's the cross. Rodriguez beaten in the air by Maguire. The ball bounces across the penalty area, and then Ashley Young buys the foul. He knew that Charlie Taylor was arriving. He braced himself, and Taylor barged him over, and it's a free kick to Manchester United, and Young has stayed down, and as well as buying the foul, he'll buy a few more seconds here as well.
I mean, I can't see why the Burnley fans are moaning or booing. I mean, they must have watched Ashley Young play football before. This is what Ashley Young does. He wins free kicks in areas. He's a clever player. And
I can now tell Robert, you haven't sat here very often.
It's okay. Yeah.
That happens. Long ball downfield for Manchester United. Mee got his head to it, and it bounced through to Nick Pope. 1-0 to Manchester United. 5 Live Sport on air midday tomorrow. Nick Bright presenting tomorrow as well, and we have Celtic Rangers at 12:30, commentary on the whole match, and 2 Premier League commentaries tomorrow. They look like good ones too. Arsenal against Chelsea from 2 o'clock, Liverpool against Wolves from 4:30. Mark Lawrenson's going to be with me at Anfield for that one, and obviously all of the day's football, all of the sport covered tomorrow, including the test match in Centurion. Manchester United have got a big month coming up in the new year. They've got the 2 legs of the Carabao Cup semi-final against Manchester City. They've got the FA Cup tie against Wolves. They've got Liverpool away towards the end of the month, and they are, you have to say, they are contenders with a scoreline like this and so close to Chelsea for a place in the Champions League places this season. The ball deflects out of play for a throw into Manchester United on the halfway line.
Yeah, Burnley had a little forward ball earlier, long ball up front, and Jay Rodriguez won the header, and the only player within vicinity of him was Chris Wood. They just need to now maybe gamble that little bit more, throw another body forward, get up there with the players, because they need to score this goal at some point to get themselves back in the game.
Remains 1-0. We're into the last 10 minutes now here. Lingard up against Cork, and the ball deflected off the arm of Jesse Lingard. Free kick to Burnley. Nick Pope is out of his penalty area, trotting towards the halfway line. Nick Pope, who was the England goalkeeper in their last match in Pristina, when he started the match for the first time. We were in Kosovo. That was quite a trip, Rob, I can tell you. Amazing. Pope will take this free kick. Long and high downfield. The yellow ball in the air, dropping towards the edge of the Manchester United box, and Fred is able to take it and give it to James. And James is now off and running, still running. This is what he loves to do, but he gets the ball caught up underneath his feet. Still finds Martial though. Martial into the penalty area. Nick Pope comes out, narrows the angle. Martial finds finds Lingard, but Lingard couldn't work it back to him. Burnley still haven't cleared it. Fred with a shot. That was blocked, and well blocked too. And Burnley now will try to break away from the edge of their own penalty area, but a careless pass from Rodriguez, who then very nearly wins it back. And suddenly now we are seeing the most frantic football that we've seen during the course of the 90 minutes, which ends with Daniel James winning a free kick.
Well, Martial had the chance to end the game there. It's a good run through by Daniel James. Manages under a challenge to thread the through ball through to him, and rather than shoot with his left foot, well, as he would have done on his right, his less natural foot on his left, and he's managed to come back inside, not really take the opportunity, not really take a shot, and didn't really do anything with it, and ended up just trying to find someone else with the pass whilst under pressure from Pope, and the chance was gone.
And so it is. Burnley 0, Manchester United 1. Closing stage is not far away. Free kick for Manchester United. Maguire heads it across the box. Ben Mee nods it away, comes out to Fred. Fred chests it down. Martial on the left hand side. He's the match winner as things stand. Fred. Rashford comes across. Ball bounces back to Rashford. Thought he might have been offside, but he wasn't. Play continues with United in possession on the far side, and then Fred concedes a foul, and it's a free kick to in fact the ball was out of play, and it's a throw into Burnley over there deep in their own right back position. 6 minutes to play. 1-0 to Manchester United, and then as Williams and Rodriguez challenge for the ball, it bounces out of play for a throw in to the home side. The ball disappears into the Manchester United dugout, and someone there throws it back to the Burnley dugout. Throw-in taken. Here's Ben Mee. Ben Mee now switches play to the left-hand side, but Taylor showed too much of that to James. However, James' challenge ran the ball back for Taylor, who takes it on down the left-hand side, and Ashley Young cleverly deflects the ball back onto Taylor and out and behind for a goal kick that Mike Dean spotted, and it's a goal kick to Manchester United.
Yeah, good defending again by Ashley Young. Went stride for side with Charlie Taylor, knew when he was trying to get the cross in, got the block in, and rebounded it back off Charlie Taylor. He's had a faultless game, to say, you know, he spent most of his career as a winger, then as a left back, now tonight as a right back. It's been fantastic to watch throughout his career, really.
Yeah, great career he's had, Ashley Young. It's his 9th season this at Manchester United. Fred finds James. James forward of the centre circle. He's running again at the Burnley defence. Turns, gives it back to Martial. There's a player down centre field, and so referee Mike Dean blows the whistle. It's Rashford who's taken a bang in the face because it was a head injury. Mike Dean stopped play. Yeah, it was a challenge from Tarkowski. I think it'll be okay. And so once again,
last change for Burnley.
Sean Dyche is going to call the players across. Time running out. Just like a bit of punch, really, don't they, Burnley?
Yeah, just that quality in the final third. You've seen teams who've not got that quality that Manchester United have you know, kind of fall away at times, and just when they get to that final third, you think, get the quality, get the right pass in at the right time, and it's just not happened for Burnley tonight, because also they get a lot less opportunities to do it because they haven't got the ball so much.
Burnley, who will play Aston Villa here on New Year's Day. Robbie Brady is going to come on. He's the final change that Burnley are making. Jack Cork from the central midfield has gone off, so that's it from Sean Dyche now, with 4 minutes to go. Rashford's back on his feet, and Jesse Lingard is saying to Mike Dean, look, I'm going to give the ball back to Burnley if you drop it, which is what will eventually happen. You think? Or will it? Whatever's going to happen. It's taken a long time.
He's going to play.
He is playing it, and there's a gentle chorus of boos. Williams plays it through to Martial, who's in an offside position, so it is a free kick to Burnley on the edge of their own penalty area. So here we go. Burnley are going for it. Brady has come over here to the left-hand side. Pope takes the free kick, long and high. Brady's going to get his first touch. No, he doesn't, because Ashley Young wins the header against him. Back it goes into the Burnley half. Ben Mee across to Tarkowski. They're such a dependable pair, aren't they? Tarkowski and Mee. Really good central defensive partnership. Westwood now here. McNeil from a central position. McNeil, low ball, but it's actually slightly behind Bardsley, who just had to check his run. Goodmanson has it on the right-hand side, though, uses his right. Bardsley lifts it high and across towards the back post, where it's headed down across the penalty area by Brady, but he couldn't find a teammate in claret and blue. 2.5 minutes to go. 1-0 Manchester United. Goodmanson again to Bardsley. McNeil has drifted into a little pocket of space there. McNeil takes it on into the full-back position. Williams comes across the front of him and wins the foul. McNeil, just a little touch, down went Williams, and it's a free kick to Manchester United.
Yeah, Brandon Williams just steps across McNeil and just enough contact there to win the foul, and kills a bit of time, allows Manchester United to move up. And I think Burnley, with a couple of minutes to go, although they haven't threatened much, you say you've had one shot on target all game, you're only going to be a goal behind when you've got 2 minutes plus injury time. Well, they might take that and say, well, let's go for it now, and you'd taken a point against Manchester United if you're Burnley.
McNeil was booked for that. I think it might have been for dissent after the decision was given against him. Manchester United bring Luke Shaw onto the field.
Man of the match goes to Clarence, number 11.
Anthony Martial off the field, and Luke Shaw coming on. So the goal scorer of the only goal so far here tonight, Anthony Martial, just before half-time, is off the field, and Luke Shaw is on. So both Williams and Shaw on the left-hand side for Manchester United. Lingard, nicely done, gives it to Rashford. Rashford spins, now again into the penalty area. Shaw is there, but Shaw drifted into an offside position, and it's a free kick to Burnley in the 90th minute. So it's going to come for Burnley, it's going to come very late for them. Nick Pope scurries across the penalty area, hurls the ball across the box. There'll be more, by the way, on the 5 Live Football Daily podcast, now 7 days a week in the morning, with all of the reaction to today's games. Download it, subscribe for free from BBC Sounds. Pope takes the free kick and slips over, much to the amusement of the Manchester United fans in the stand behind him. Then it finds its way to Brady. Brady here will see the fourth official on the far side, showing us very shortly how long there is to go. Anthony Taylor will show us 5 minutes, which he does now. Burnley have 5 minutes to find an equaliser, but Chris Wood couldn't keep the ball in, and it's a throw into Manchester United down here in front of us.
Well, Manchester United are going to kill the game now. They're just slowing everything down. They feel like they've done the work, they've earned the win here, they've taken advantage of the one mistake that Burnley have made, and you've got to say that for clinicalness and just that bit more quality on the ball, if you said they're going to win the game 1-0, they probably deserve it.
Yeah, it has been a hard-fought victory, if that is what it is going to be. Headed on by Wood. Brady, back to the halfway line. Brady dived into the challenge with Westwood, and James came out with it, and Fred takes it on, and Fred now running towards the edge of the D. Shaw takes it, left side of the box. Luke Shaw, low ball across, straight at Tarkowski, and it bounces away to Goodmanson, who picks up possession for Burnley, and Goodmanson's pass is straight at Maguire, and Manchester United can start again in the centre circle, just taking the sting out of the game, leading by 1-0 and closing in on Chelsea. If they hang on to this 1-0 lead, Manchester United will be 1 point behind Chelsea tonight, who of course go to Arsenal tomorrow in one of our 5 live commentary matches. Maguire to Fred, and now Williams shuffles one way and the other, and he's off on another one of those runs, and then he is upended unceremoniously by Bardsley, who has already been yellow carded, and a second yellow card.
No, he's diving. Yellow card.
Oh no, it's for Williams. Well, I have to say, I think he's a little unfortunate.
No, I don't know. It's one of them. He's nicked it past Bardsley, and Bardsley's pulled his leg away, and Williams has stuck his leg out to look for the foul, and Mike Dean's having none of it. Now, there was contact, but it was more from Williams' doing than Bardsley's, I think.
So the teenager is booked, and Bardsley stays on the field. 1-0 Manchester United. We've already had 2 minutes of added time. Ball out of play for a throw-in for Manchester United. They're in absolutely no hurry to take this. They've got plenty of experience there in the shape of players like Ashley Young, who takes as long as he can to get across there and eventually takes the throw. Back to Lindelof, volleys it away. Manchester United supporters in very good voice. For United, this is actually going to be 6 wins out of the last 8 in all competitions for Manchester United. It's just the damaging defeats. Mind you, this might not be a win yet. Goodmanson now crosses into Ashley Young, and it bounces behind. It's a corner in the 3rd minute of added time for Burnley.
This is the game now, isn't it?
Nick Pope's coming up, Rob. Here he is, arriving in the penalty area. Westwood with the corner. It's a deep one to the back post. It's half-headed away, nodded back in by Goodmanson, but then headed out of the penalty area by Luke Shaw. McNeil though will send it back in, and it's headed away and out into the full-back position by Maguire. Lifted back in by Westwood to the back post. Maguire got to it again, but the Burnley players are suggesting to referee Mike Dean that it struck a hand, and then Nick Pope is fouled on the halfway line, and as he was getting back, Nick Pope, he was caught by Jesse Lingard, who is yellow carded for that. Now the United fans are cheering because actually Lingard put the ball into the net from the halfway line, but it will have to be rescued by Nick Pope.
Fantastic bit of skill by Nick Pope. Went to play it up the line, feigned that, nicked it inside, and then a spectacular dive in the foul as well. It was wonderful to see from a former goalkeeper.
VAR must have looked at that, whether it was a handball inside the penalty area, not given. Free kick taken. We're in the 5th minute, we're in the final minute of added time. Burnley having to get back. James though plays it across to Rashford into the penalty area, and he's able to slide it in, having gone round Nick Pope, and that seals the Manchester United victory here at Turf Moor. Marcus Rashford scoring his 16th goal of the season for United, and the visiting supporters are in great voice there as the United players celebrate in front of them. Burnley 0, Manchester United 2.
That was always the danger, wasn't it? Coming Manchester United on the break, and Burnley had that sustained bit of pressure, going for the equaliser last minute, and it was a great ball through to Rashford. They broke in their own half, came through. Rashford had the half of the pitch to cover, made it well onside, square ball into him, through on Pope, round Pope, actually fell over as he was trying to finish it, and I think it was more of a slide tackle than a finish, but managed to bundle it over the line, and job done for Manchester United. Not the most fluent of performances probably, but clean sheet away from home, not had many of them.
No, that's right. Be the first clean sheet away from home in the Premier League since February. First clean sheet away from home in the Premier League in 15 matches, and I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be as proud of that as of anything as the final whistle goes, and Manchester United's victory here is confirmed. Their 2nd of this Christmas week, and they go to within a point of Chelsea. Martial late in the first half, Rashford very late in the second, Rob Green.
Yep, Deserved win by Manchester United. Burnley just didn't ask enough of them. Only one shot on target, and the mistake in the first half set the tone for the second half. And I think, all in all, a comfortable win by Manchester United.
Yep, for Burnley, second consecutive defeat this week. They're 5th in 7 matches, but they remain in 13th position, and Rob Green sums it up very well. They just didn't have enough to threaten Manchester United enough. So the final score, Burnley 0, Manchester United 2.